Hi there. Sorry, it's been a few days, 5 days, I think, since I managed to even get a vlog done. Um, so much is happening, isn't it? With the Epstein dump. Don't laugh. Still laugh at that. Yeah, dump. There's so much to cover in this, and there's two separate points I would like to get to. First is the point with Juliet Bryant that I've been making and she's been making, and she's become a great researcher in her own right. She's a survivor of Epstein's who was taken to his island and Zorro Ranch in 2002. Many people who have been following my work on iconic.com, where you'll find Classified and Focus each week, the shows I do, will know that myself and Juliet have been pushing this information out there for 2.5 years, that she says she woke up paralysed and naked on a laboratory table whilst being held at Zorro Ranch. She also saw a UFO, which would make sense because it's New Mexico. You've got Dulce Base, you've got Los Alamos National Laboratory there, you've got the Roswell incident, Trementina site, which is the Church of Spiritual Technology, which again is, as I've said many times, a offshoot of Scientology, where L. Ron Hubbard's alleged teachings are cryogenically frozen. I don't think that's the only thing that's cryogenically frozen there. There's something going on under Zorro Ranch. So she told me she woke up paralysed and naked underneath, or possibly in a facility near Zorro Ranch. And obviously people have skeptically looked at that, laughed at that. I've come out with the fact that there's many transhumanist elements to what Jeffrey Epstein has done. We've looked into the blue butterfly symbology, which is possibly Lilith, Psyche, or Atlas. Atlas is the butterfly with 229 chromosome pairs, which means it could possibly become many things. So they have, many of them, 5 or 6 of them, have use of this blue butterfly symbology, Epstein survivors. We've covered all of that in depth on the interviews. You can see them on iconic.com. You can even see the full interview, the original interview I did with Juliet on Iconic's X account, and you can go to the website and watch it as well, where she talked about this 2.5 years ago. Now, people have obviously been sceptical about this, but now with these Epstein files coming out, I'll read you just this one. This backs up everything we've been saying, that there's something going on with these guys in terms of transhumanism. So this is from Jeffrey Epstein's account to a Brian Bishop, I'm not sure who he was, but it's subject, designer babies, use of funds, 5th of August 2018. This is well after, 10 years after he was convicted as a child trafficker, by the way. So Epstein says, attached as the doc you requested it is the use of funds spreadsheet for the designer baby and human cloning company. This is from Jeffrey Epstein. This gets us out of our self-funded garage biology phase. So he's saying there clearly that they've already started this stuff as self-funded garage biology. What do you think that garage is? Where it is? Remember, this is Epstein that ordered a cement truck to fill in something on his island 3 weeks before the FBI allegedly raided it. And then obviously these are coming from official sources from his email accounts. So it says the garage biology phase to the first live birth of a human designer baby and possibly a human clone within 5 years. Once we reach the first birth, everything changes and the world will never be the same again, much less the future of the human species. And he says, attached, the doc shows 1.7 million a year for up to 5 years, plus $1 million, I believe that is, for lab setup. He's funding these things. He says, next step, I'm happy to hop on another call, or I could take a trip to meet you in person. And if you have any thoughts of what I might be missing, or whether this is a reasonable estimate to get to the first live birth, then I would really appreciate any feedback. It's insane. They're telling you here they're doing this. Now, Juliet Bryant spoke about, and others have spoke about, harvesting their eggs. This is what we believe they were doing. Now, prove us wrong. In Zorro Ranch, Epstein's Island, Los Alamos National Laboratory, Dulce Base were being involved, as well as this Edwards Air Force Base. Many of these things, the Montauk Project, even that gets involved because that's near Seagate, where Epstein was raised, which is a gated community not far from the Chabad Lubavitch sect that could do with a homunculus child to infuse their Antichrist Messiah in. And you think that, I know that these sounds mad, but these emails show that these people think like this. We do not have to believe it. And there is absolute evidence that they were looking at garage biology turned into something else. You've got the Swiss X company, which is also in the Caribbean islands as well. You've got the technate of Elon Musk, who funds Trump, along with Peter Thiel, who wanted to take over Venezuela, which they have done, Canada, which they're pushing for, and Greenland, which has got that camp, I think it's called Camp Justice there. Camp Hero is the one on Montauk Project on Long Island, with Plum Island just off in the distance, where a lot of weird hybrid animals appear to be worked on or washed up, if you're to believe some of the information that's come out about it. The absurdity of all this stuff seems very, very, even more real now than it ever has. And people are shocked by this, and they should be, because these people are a lunatic, satanic, transhumanist cult. The technate of Joshua Haldeman, who's the grandfather of Elon Musk, wanted to take over all of those previously mentioned areas, Canada, Venezuela, Greenland, but also the US Virgin Islands, or the Virgin Islands. And obviously, the Virgin Islands covers Epstein's Island, also the island of St. Bart's. You've got Elon Musk in the emails begging to go to the island, Epstein's Island, with his wife, he says, so it's okay. Not really, is it? But he's also looking for party tips on the nearby island of St. Bart's. And on St. Bart's, a little while later, he conceived his 13th child with Ashley St. Clair that he named Romulus. Romulus and Remus are the two direwolf that were allegedly the founders of Rome in the mythological story, who were raised by a wolf. Now, Ashley St. Clair and the child that he had, the 13th child, conceived on St. Bart's, just across the water from Epstein Island, was called Romulus. She was wearing a black dress with a silver moon on the side, I would say to symbolise the she-wolf. If there's nothing to this stuff, fair enough, but go and have a look, because there's something going on here with these lunatics. And I would say it has a messianic agenda to it, a messianic cult to it. Now, what is happening here right now is that we're seeing another divide and rule. People want to take sides. So we're having the UK members of Parliament, a British member of Parliament says Epstein has been spying for Putin. We all know that he's been spying for, and he was a Mossad agent, we know that. But what this is designed to do, and I'm not saying this MP understands this or any of them in that room do, apart from probably the higher-ups, that this is to get you to pick a side. The fact of the matter is Epstein was very close in with the Zionist, even having Israeli prime ministers on his island, messianic agenda. Born not far from Brooklyn in Seagate, near the Israel Knesset. And I think around the corner is a Chabad school as well, a learning centre in Seagate. Have a look at that. Now, Netanyahu, Putin, and Donald Trump, Jared Kushner, many others, Malay, are all connected to this Chabad Lubavitch, I would say, cult. And this FBI document that was just released says this. CHS, which is the CHS report document, this is released in the Epstein files, advised Chabad is doing everything they can to co-opt the Trump presidency. Chabad is basically state-sanctioned Judaism. It is used by Putin to keep tabs on all Russo-Jewish oligarchs. On the day Trump was elected, President Ivanka Trump, his daughter, and Jared were at the gravesite of Rabbi Schneerson, who was the most powerful rabbi in the Chabad network. Jared didn't disclose his stake in Cadre because of his ties to the Russian state. CHS believed this is the real Russian collusion story. Kushner has moved a lot of Russian investment money around. The FBI should investigate Kushner's family charities to find evidence of corruption and money laundering. Chabad routinely use charities to launder money. They're all in it together. They are all in it together. So you're getting this whole nonsense in Parliament of, oh, blame Putin, which gets that kind of feeling in you of going, well, clearly he works for the Israelis, so you're picking a side, when actually they're all in it together anyway. So there is truth to this, and you're throwing the baby out with the bathwater. That's the point. That actually Putin was involved with Chabad Lubavitch, because at that level, this cult doesn't see countries. Epstein was involved with spying for the Russians, but they weren't really spying for Russians, spying for the cults. This messianic cult that could do with a homunculus to fit into their technate that will be the smart grid system that they'll run their 7 note high doors messianic agenda olam haba world to come, and they call it Taken Olam, which is to repair the world. That plays into what you're seeing in the Middle East with what they've done to Gaza, because they want to build the third temple. You've got Pete Hegseth, as I've said in previous vlogs, already talking about, well, it was in 2018 at the same time as this stuff was kicking off, talking about, I believe it was 2018, talking about he hopes for the third temple to be built on Temple Mount, because they're a cult. They're a messianic cult playing out nonsense biblical end times prophecies that aren't prophecies at all. It was a bloody Old Testament was written by King Uzziah and his merry men to unite the kingdoms of Judah and Israel to be able to build the second temple. It was a backdated story. This is all built on sand, but this is a cult, a global cult. So when the British MPs are calling out Putin, they know at the very top level the kickback's going to be, well, clearly Epstein wasn't working and spying for Putin, he was spying for Israel. So you go, well, Putin must be the good guy then, he's calling out Satanism in the West. No, they're all in it together. They want you to pick a side. That's the point. That is the point. That's why the United Kingdom is right sandwiched between Greenland and Russia, because you're getting pincer movement into this cult. And the technate is rolling out behind it, all of this AI, Palantir technology. This is a global cult that goes beyond borders and countries. They don't care about things like that. They control all aspects of it. So don't get fooled into the divide and rule. And these files, these Epstein files, are the damn buster that they can't stop. Keep pushing. These guys are all in it together, and that they are doing stuff, in my opinion, and the opinion of Epstein survivors, underneath that island, underneath the surrounding islands and under New Mexico, to do with the transhumanist agenda, genetic experiments, harvesting eggs, and God knows what else. You've got the whole connection of Jack Parsons, Aleister Crowley and L. Ron Hubbard doing the Babylon working ritual, which was to create the Moonchild and the Whore of Babylon, which is a homunculus. Basically, it's Rosemary's Baby. You've even got the symbology in the British Royals of wearing the Rosemary's Baby dress with Diana, and wears a variant of it, and Kate wears exactly the same one. Kate Middleton. This is the satanic cult. You've got Prince Charles, who was best mates with the biggest child abuser the world has ever seen, Jimmy Savile, and his brother, Prince Andrew, was best mates with the second biggest, or the US version, Jeffrey Epstein. They've got the Sigil of Saturn on the Balmoral crest. Balmoral. They tell you. Because it's all there to see. Even King Charles talks about being related to Vlad the Impaler, which is Dracula. I mean, this cult is very real. Don't get divided between them. Putin is just as much involved, in my opinion, with them. And even this FBI CHS report says openly, advise Chabad is doing everything they can to co-opt the Trump presidency. They don't need to, because he was already even bowed out by the Rothschilds years and years before that. Who created Zionism, who created Israel, the modern day Israel, which is really just a front for the Greater Israel Project, which is a front for the Project for New American Century as well, and is really a front for this messianic agenda playing out end times nonsense. And this FBI report goes on to say Chabad is basically state-sanctioned Judaism. It is used by Putin to keep tabs on all Russo-Jewish oligarchs even. It's not Judaism, though. This is Sabbatean Frankism that inverts everything that's positive about Judaism and Christianity and Islam. These are Sabbatean Frankists. They invert everything and infiltrate anything. This is a cult that use these religions for their own purposes. And the good people and the decent people that genuinely believe in these three Abrahamic religions, which they have every right to. These guys don't believe in these religions. They use them and abuse the people in them, like the upper levels of the Freemasons do to the lower levels. This is what we're seeing coming out, and this is why these files are so important, because they show a global cult that have no divides amongst their countries. None. Putin, Netanyahu, Epstein, Trump, Kushner, Ivanka, Malay, RFK Jr., Starmer, Blair, Thatcher. They were all involved with this cult for decades, if not thousands of years.